Hi, I'm Brian from Simply Brian Enterprises, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about potatoes. Even more excitingly, what we can do with potatoes in an engineering sense. So I've got a couple of things here set up and ready to go, and we'll walk through what we need to do to power a potato clock. So if you're not familiar with it, there is a well-known kit out there that's made by a company called 4M. This is a kit that you can find in a lot of hobby stores or online outlets like Amazon. It's fairly popular, fairly easy to get your hands on if you do any shopping around. And I'm going to be using this today to uh, power a clock using two potatoes. So I just wanted to walk you through that and show you kind of some of the fun we can have. So I've modified the kit slightly. The terminals that come with it, here I'll show you again. There's actually two terminals, this copper terminal and this zinc terminal. And unfortunately, the ones that come with the kit are a little bit brittle. They bend and break very easily. So instead, I'm using a copper roofing nail and a galvanized nail. The galvanized nail uses a zinc coating, and that's what we need to get the chemical reaction from our potato that ultimately generates electricity. So I'm going to go ahead and start assembling this potato battery that we're going to do here. And I'm just going to put the zinc nail in one end, the copper nail in the other. I'm going to turn on my multimeter, and we're going to see what we get. So we cleared out. You can see, might be a little hard to read, but we're getting microvolts, basically almost unreadable voltage. And I'm going to clip on my leads, and we should see we're getting about 0.9 volts, which is pretty good for a potato. And one of the neat things about this is, like any other battery, we can wire them in series and wire them in parallel. So I'm going to go ahead here and just make another battery using a zinc nail and a copper nail. And I have a jumper to go between these. So just like you would take two batteries and link them end to end, I'm going to actually connect them in series. And now when I clip on my leads, I should get, we'll see what we get for output voltage. I think I know, but we won't know for sure until I clip them on and find out. And we're getting 1.8 volts. That's pretty good. Usually a potato is going to deliver about 3/4 of a volt. These are apparently very excited potatoes. They're giving us a little more than that, more like 0.9 volts. But basically what we normally get is that two potatoes wired in series. It's about the equivalent of a AA battery. And so I'm going to unclip my voltmeter. As much fun as that is, that's not as exciting as seeing a working clock. So I'm going to grab my leads and I'm going to clip these on. And we should see the clock. There we go. It's upside down. And there we go. Now we have a functional working clock. Of course, I've got to set the time on it. But just like that, we have two potatoes powering a little digital clock. Just zinc and copper nails wired in series, producing about 1.9 volts, just enough to power this little clock that comes with the kit. But then the question is, what else can we use besides potatoes? You may have heard of making a lemon clock. Certainly citrus fruits produce a nice chemical reaction, but what about any other hydrocarbon? What about ketchup? You know, we're coming up on the 4th of July weekend here in the U.S. Got to have our ketchup and mustard. We're barbecuing, right? Here, let's see what happens when we do a little bit of ketchup and mustard. Can we make a ketchup and mustard battery? Let's find out. Bear with me, I misplaced my jumper. I'm going to clip on my jumper onto the copper again. And this jumper is going to be really ornery with me because it's a very stiff wire jumper. This jumper does not want to cooperate very well with the ketchup and mustard. There we go. And so now I'm going to bring back my voltmeter. Thank you, potatoes. Bring back my voltmeter. Let's see what we can do with the ketchup and mustard battery. What kind of voltage can we get off of that? By the way, this is an unscripted video. One shot. If it doesn't turn out, it doesn't turn out. So you're getting the ugliness of this thing. All right, let's get this clipped on here. And we can see that we're getting about 0.8 volts from ketchup and mustard wired in series, certainly less than the potatoes. A couple of years ago, I had done a similar experiment using this kit and the things you're seeing here, and just ran through different hydrocarbons, what seemed to produce the best power. And by far the best that I could find were potatoes and lemons. That's what a lot of people use when they're making these little batteries. Like you can see here, any hydrocarbon will work, but the reality, that's kind of annoying. Now, the reality is that that some work better than others, and certainly potatoes and citrus fruits are the way to go if you want to take this seriously. So, with that said, what I'm going to do now is challenge you to think about what kind of batteries do you want to create. I've showed you how to do it with a galvanized nail. If you don't have a copper nail, just use a piece of copper wire, something like 14 or 12 gauge electrical wire. Just strip the insulation off, use a copper pin, and you don't need the little clock module. You can use a multimeter like I have, or anything else that's going to run off of like a AA battery. Plug it in, see if it works. I have some other ideas, and given it's a long weekend, I'm going to try them. And if things work out, I will post the results below. Thank you for watching. I know this is kind of a silly, out of the ordinary video, but I know that this came up in the chat the other day in Paul McWhorter's class, and so I wanted to do a little bit of a response just to show people that yes, this does work. Anyway, have a great time. I appreciate you watching. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe below. I'll see you next time. Simply Brian Enterprises, this is Brian. Thank you for watching.